Good morning, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Helena. I am the executive director with the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. Very excited for, oh, we have a backup. Hold on for 1 second. I don't know why. Okay, hopefully there isn't it isn't a back. That was strange. Good morning, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Helena. I'm the executive director with the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. And I'm very, very excited for this webinar, Navigating the Digital Landscape, Unlocking the Power of Digital Marketing. You know, we have gotten a lot of requests on digital marketing. We talk about this at our online networking, in-person networking events on how to grow your business. If you ever see, which you do, you get our emails in our subject line is grow your business with us. This is the reason why we put these webinars on, so you can grow your business. And we have Mimi Dam from she is a digital marketing strategist and a seminar spokesperson. So we're really excited, very fortunate to have her on. And this is being recorded. It will be on Chamber TV. If you have any questions, put it in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat. And I'm going to turn it over to Mimi right now, because I want to give her as much time, because everyone always is learning new information on how to grow your business, especially digital marketing, because everyone is on the internet. And most people, 99%, have a website. So Mimi, take it away.
Great. Thank you so much. It's so nice to be here. Just to give you a little background on myself quickly, my name is Mimi. I've been in this business in the marketing for about 20 years. Started in print originally. I have experience in all forms of media, but one of my passions is certainly digital marketing. And really, if you were to ask me what I do, I help businesses of all sizes and organizations make money with digital marketing. So thank you again, and we'll get started. So again, digital marketing, it's one of those very gray areas, right? So really, we're going to talk about the tailored and targeted approach. I call it the principle of eggs in a basket. We're going to talk about the marketing funnel, which I actually like to kind of use the scenario of building a house. It's very similar to that. And then growth strategies. What is your strategy? And if you don't have a plan, that's one of the biggest fallacies in marketing. You really have to know where you've been and where you're going. And digital platforms, how they affect your message and your target, which platforms to use. Should I use all of them? Should I use one? So we're going to address that. And then the future of attribution. That's a pretty big buzzword in digital marketing today. So we're going to kind of debunk attribution and talk about what it really means. And then linking the strategies together. Again, how many strategies should I use? How do these strategies interact with each other? Those are very important elements. And then I'll try to leave some time for question and answer as well. So, digital marketing today, it's really shaped by our demand, needs, and wants. So fear of loss. What am I going to lose if people don't know what I have to offer? What's going to happen to my business if I'm not out there? And then wants are needs shaped by culture and personality. And that's our buying power, essentially. And then demand is backed by our buying power. And one of the common themes throughout today's presentation is really going to be emotion. We buy based on emotion. It doesn't matter if it's a house, where we live, a pair of shoes. We buy based on emotion, and that's essentially going to really elevate your marketing strategy. So the traditional strategy, especially when I started many years ago, and many businesses told me I need to diversify my options to get the best possible reach. And I have to put a little bit in the newspaper, a little bit on radio, maybe I'm going to run an ad in a few magazines. And I just need to make sure that everybody's going to see my message. Fast forward today, that doesn't work, mainly because we're inundated with a lot of information. And if all of you think about, how many pieces of information you were inundated with between 6 o'clock this morning and even just up to now, it was probably hundreds of messages. You don't quite remember, but you remember the ones that cut through the clutter and got your attention. So the tailored targeted approach, again, fast forward 20 years, And this is where we're at. And digital marketing, this is what they've done so well. So this is a philosophy that embraces an effective marketing campaign with measurable return. So essentially, it's
Mimi,
not the
Mimi,
yes,
I'm gonna interrupt you.
yeah,
I don't see are you on the PowerPoint? Because it's
yes.
not updating.
Huh. Okay. Let me reshare.
It wasn't moving.
Let's reshare.
In the meanwhile, good morning, everyone. I love everyone from New Jersey. Let me see who is on there. Oh,
Can you see it
perfect.
now?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm going to start the slideshow. So from current slide.
perfect. Let's see. Nope, it's
Oh,
going back. It's going back to Lenovo.
okay, then there's a problem with
Is everyone else seeing? I just want to make sure it's just, I assume it's everyone's
yeah,
seeing that.
okay. Then I'll have to leave it out of presentation view. Um,
Yeah, it's definitely on share.
yeah. Um, hold on. Let me try one more thing.
Okay. To Kent, who asked if he's gonna get it, this is being televised, so you'll definitely see that if you want.
So you're not seeing it at all?
Now we see tailored targeted approach. Go to the next one and let's just go to the next. Click on another one. Yeah, now it's working.
Okay, I'll have to leave it out of presentation view.
Just leave it, yeah, leave it like that then, whatever works.
Okay. So essentially, the tailored targeted approach, this embraces an effective marketing campaign. So we're not essentially putting all the eggs in one basket as much as we are, really saturating each platform enough to be effective. So rather than spreading all your impressions across many platforms, essentially what we're doing is making this effective. So some of our new consumer capabilities are an increase in buying power. So we have the ability to purchase things, whether it's by increased revenue or even by increased capabilities of finding products. There's more product availability than ever before. And a lot of this comes down to the fact that there's across multiple websites, across multiple channels. We no longer have to physically walk into a store to buy something. And then there's more information available about everything. Orders are easier to place. Amazon's a great example of that. The ability to shop around, and then platforms to influence public opinions, blogs, reviews, etc. So businesses that must first create a need. No one knows what you have to offer. I have to make them aware. This could be restaurants, entertainment, med spas, charities, retail, even recruitment. So recruitment is kind of flipped the script a little bit, and everybody needs to recruit now. So it's really become a product. It's almost become a commodity. So when you think about your employees and the need to recruit, recruitment plays into this just as much as any product. And then tactics to consider are YouTube. We're going to talk a little bit about streaming television, a little bit about social media, and definitely my personal favorite, targeted email. And then businesses that have to answer a need. Now, these are the businesses that nobody wants to use, but we're going to have to. We all need to use them. These could be doctors, dentists, lawyers, HVAC specialists, plumbers, mechanics, vets. These are all organizations that, regardless, we're going to have to use them. And these are typically what pop up in our Google searches because we typically need them in an emergency. So the quote of the day is, you can't build a brand without a plan. And essentially, many people want to kind of dive into digital marketing without really having a plan and a strategy. And the problem with that is digital marketing can be so fragmented that without a cohesive plan, it's very difficult to move forward. So, how to build your brand, identifiers, unique features, value. These are all things that really play into your story. And when we talk about a brand, we're going to talk about a story. So, really, what's your story? What are the things that make you unique? What sets you apart? What are your unique value propositions that you bring to the table? And it's nothing you need to answer today, but I strongly recommend that you think about these things and think about your story, what plays into your brand. These are very important. Essentially, it's like building a house. So you have to pour the foundation of a house before you can do anything else. And that's should be just like your marketing strategy. You really need to build your brand, get your story out there, get it out through multiple digital channels, integrate those channels. It's like pouring the foundation of a house. It takes time. While you're doing that, put on the walls and siding of the house, educate, inform, tell your story. And then, of course, once we're doing that, and while you're doing that, you can then start to put the roof on the house. And those are when you start to see the conversions come through. Those are when you start to see the sales and the leads. But those can't come through, and those quality leads cannot come through until you've effectively built the foundation of your house. And that takes, above all else, time. And I talk to a lot of people, they have money, but I don't talk to anybody that has time. So unfortunately, this is something where you have to be in it for the long haul, because stopping and starting and creating that inconsistency can be very detrimental to any marketing campaign, not specifically digital. So essentially, it's a compound growth strategy. That type of thought process is really focusing at what we call the top of the funnel, or the foundation of the house. You're getting your message out there, you're being consistent. This is your story. This is the emotion that you're invoking with your potential customers, your potential clients. And then you engage, you provide your customers or potential customers with the opportunity to self-educate. What is it about your business that's special? Were you, are you a family business that was started over 50 years ago, 100 years ago? Is it your product? Is it your inventory? Is it your employees? That could potentially be one of the things that sets you apart. We all know that having great employees is really the lifeblood to any business. And then, then you only have to focus about maybe a fraction of the bottom of the funnel. And that's where you spend money in maybe some Google AdWords. That's where you might do, a lead generation campaign. But really, you should be focusing at the top of the funnel. And it sounds a little counterintuitive, because I need leads today, and we all need to make money today. Otherwise, we don't stay in business. But if we're not looking at our business from a perspective of 5 years from now, 10 years from now, a year from now, even a year from now, we're not going to have that long-term revenue. So I like organizations to really think about that vision in 5 to 10 years. And that's going to shape their marketing campaign in terms of how they're going to tell that story. So growing your customer base is really important. And it's, the best opportunity to grow your business. But who is that audience? If we don't know who they are, we can't reach them. And again, this isn't something you need to really know today, but it's something I'd like you to go home and think about, and then really define that audience. Who are they? And maybe it's your core customer. Maybe they're adults, 45 to 65 with 80,000 plus income. Ideally, you'd like to reach more females, 35 plus with 100,000 plus income. And then customers you don't see enough of are adults, 65 plus. So again, these 3 different categories, these 3 different audience segments will most likely need 3 different messages, and potentially 3 different platforms. But again, it's about defining that audience, because we're not necessarily putting all the eggs in one basket. We're actually saturating each demographic enough to be effective, because no longer is everybody just reading the paper or everybody just listening to the radio. It's much too fragmented. You have to cut through the clutter and reach the right person at the right place and the right time. And essentially, that's digital marketing in a nutshell. So we talk about return on investment. We have to know our money's working, right? We're very, very concerned with return on investment. How do I know this is working? And traditionally, well, here's a coupon from the paper. I know that worked. I can hear my ad on the radio. I know that worked. But did it really? If you're hearing your ad on the radio, does that mean your ideal audience who's going to spend money is going to hear your ad? And these are things you really want to take a step back. So we look at the hard KPIs. We look at, audience growth, video completion rate, reach impressions, frequency, website attribution. How many people from this ad are actually going to my website? And then conversion metrics. All these hard data is very important. And we in the digital marketing world have kind of enabled that because, hey, we can show you all this really fantastic information to show you that your ad is working. In the meantime, we focus so much on these metrics, we've tended to forget about some of the other metrics that are just as important. So I like to kind of look at that as more return on influence. So think of ROI as return on influence. What's your story? What's the emotion? What are people's perception of your brand? Have you built a brand? These are all questions you want to ask yourself. So the softer KPIs, brand awareness. I like to call it brand storytelling. Brand awareness is kind of an overused term. Brand equity. What's your share in the market compared to your competition? Customer loyalty. Are people coming back? Quality, value, consistency. Are you out there consistently, or are you just going out there when you have to push a sale or a year end? And then engagement. So how are people engaging with your ad? And much different than traditional, thanks to social media, we can now engage, click, post, like, share, save, comment. These are all things we can do in real time with your message. So attribution is very much, it's simply put, what am I getting out of this marketing? How am I seeing the results? How many people are coming to my website? How many people are purchasing from my website? How many people are coming through my door? And these are all different metrics. And these, depending on what you want to see as attribution, that's really up to the business owner itself. What do I want to see come out of this campaign? And that's where we tend to get focused on those much harder metrics. And it was really easier to really formulate years ago. Even with the beginning of the internet, it was, customer A, linear attribution. I went to a website, I clicked, I made a purchase, boom, I'm a conversion, sale, good. Easy enough. It's really not that difficult. So fast forward to today, and it's much more difficult. So, it's what we call multi-touch attribution. Maybe you clicked on a display ad, you saw an ad on HGTV, then you went to the website, but you Googled it first, and then you were retargeted with another ad, and then you saw that brand you were super interested in, so you went to their social media page, and you did all of these multiple times and in many different directions. So it is not linear. And if we think about our own experiences as buyers and consumers, we are inundated with so much information. It's so critical to cut through that clutter and really get to the right person at the right place and the right time in order to be successful. So I'm going to talk a lot about video. And we have other platforms that are, very effective, but they always work best with video. Video, video, video. It's the best way to tell a story. We process video 60,000 times faster than text. Emotion, connection. This is our most dominant sense, and this is how we can tell a story. And telling this story through video is going to set your brand apart. One of the most popular and one of the most kind of interesting and kind of gray areas right now is really streaming TV. And that's essentially getting your content from an Apple TV, a Roku, a smart TV. That's how I get my content. And I'm going to guess that's how the majority of all of you get your content as well. So again, this has really kind of obliterated the cable landscape. And you can even get your local broadcast stations through platforms like Fubo and Hulu Live and YouTube TV. Streaming television is really transformed the viewing landscape. So it's going to have astronomical growth. So through 2027, you're going to see ad spending on connected television, $42 billion. It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to spend on this platform, but that's where it's at. And to be honest, there's never been a more exciting time as an advertiser to get into this landscape. And there is the misconception, this is very expensive. It's not very expensive because, again, if we're tailored and targeted, we're only going to the right people at the right place in the right time. You don't necessarily need to be on all these networks. You just have to be on the right ones. So again, OTT or over the top, that's across all devices. You've also probably heard of it as connected television. That's simply put on the big screen TV. Essentially, the technical term is just viewing your content through an internet device, which is how I'm going to guess the majority of us actually get our content. There's two dominant devices in the home, actually anywhere you go now, and it's your mobile phone and the big screen TV. We use our laptops and desktops for work and other things as well, but really it's your phone and the big screen TV. And as you can see, the connected TV is going to catch up through next year in terms of minutes viewed. And it's going to be very comparable to the mobile phone. So we'll be spending almost as much time on our big screen TVs as we do on our mobile phones, which is super interesting. And when you think about it, we have TVs everywhere now. We have them at work. We're always watching content. So it's no longer something where you watch TV at home and then you forget about it. It's everywhere you go. So again, you might hear that termed as CTV or connected television. So it's essentially the big screen TV. So in New York, 91% of the population is essentially an OTT or connected television viewer. And as you can see, 42% are from smart TVs, 59% are from streaming devices, and 72% are streaming or smart TVs alone. So this is a very, very dominant form of consuming content. And then video has taken, it's going to be, again, $42.4 billion. That's a lot of money. And that's a lot of money for companies to be spending on connected television. And this creates more opportunities to convert across your other platforms. It's going to have a positive effect on your social media, on your Google ads. It's going to have a positive effect across all of your digital channels. We call this the halo effect. So essentially, it's cross-channel attribution. It provides improved brand awareness, integrated campaigns, increased web traffic, social media engagement, better data targeting. You can actually look at cross-channel attribution. One thing I will recommend, if you're not dialed in to Google Analytics 4, I strongly recommend that's something that you jump and dive into and embrace, because that truly is the lifeblood of your business. It's going to tell you who your customers are, where they're coming from, what their profile, how they're getting there. So if you are a business owner, I strongly, strongly recommend embracing Google Analytics 4. You can do customizable content. It's targeted advertising. You could be watching an ad that potentially your neighbor isn't. Maybe you're interested in Chevy trucks. So you're going to see ads for Chevy trucks because you're being targeted. Because all the devices in the home are connected through your IP address, we can see your behavior. We can see what you're interested in. We can look at analytics, insights, improve viewer engagement. It's long form, episodic content. So if you're sitting down to watch Yellowstone or Flip or Flop, you're engaged, you're ready to consume. It's very cost effective. And there are many, many price structures and strategies out there in order to get into the OTT or connected television space. It's got flexible formats. You've probably seen the Hulu pause ads where you pause and boom, here's a QR code, here's a website. It's also great for brand building. What better way to tell your story than a 30-second or even a 60-second video showcasing that emotion and showcasing why we should purchase your product. And if we're targeting correctly, it's invited content into the home. So these are ads that you're going to want to see because you've actually displayed an interest. So this is how we consume content now. This, is the average American living room. And this probably looks like many of your living rooms at home. And as you can see, somebody's watching the big screen. You see something you're interested in. What's the first thing you do? Because we watch TV with our phones, we go to the website. We may Google it. And again, this can be seen across a variety of networks. They could be on a variety of different networks, even streaming audio through Pandora, CBS Sports, USA Today. Personally, we work with over 125 plus networks and growing. And when I mentioned there was never a more exciting time to be on connected television, Netflix has now fully embraced ad supported. You can pay more to not see ads, or you can pay less than half and you can actually be exposed to these targeted ads. So Disney Plus, a lot of controversy about having knowledge of the connected television landscape. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. It's really exciting, and it's very, very cost effective. So again, it's targetable. You have a captive audience. You can strategize with no ad blockers. It's non-skippable. Cross devices, right? You can watch, you can watch it on your laptop, you can watch it on your phone, you can watch it on the big screen TV. It's cost effective. Don't let anyone tell you it's not. It's very, very cost effective. There's less ad clutter because you should be targeted with these ads, and it's very innovative. So there's different ways that you can actually create your message. Along that same vein is targeted display and video. So as you can see, this is actually, if you've ever searched for a plane ticket, or if you've ever searched for a car, and all of a sudden you just keep getting inundated with, ads from United and Southwest, or maybe it's Ford trucks. This is probably because you've been targeted with your interests and considerations. And maybe you're on CNN.com and then you see an ad for Southwest come across. Well, it's probably because you've been searching for either vacations or prices on plane tickets and things like that. So they can target you through behavioral, contextual, search and site retargeting. Behavioral. We can look at what websites are you on, what keywords are you looking at, what content are you reading. And then, okay, you've been to Delta. Now we're going to retarget you with an ad from Southwest. So again, we can see if you're on competitor websites. And then we can also build lookalike audiences where we can take your current customer's profile and then build upon those attributes. And maybe your current ideal customer is women 35 plus. Now we find out they also like the outdoors, they love dogs, they're food and wine specialists, and we can build to create new audiences. I preach video, but I did want to, show you what some of these banner ads could look like as well. And you're very familiar with these, I'm sure. But again, when you talk about recruitment, this is actually a very effective method. Again, I would utilize this type of platform with a video component, but they can be very effective for click-throughs and getting someone to go to a specific page on your website. And then looking at video, it can run before, during, or after the content that you're watching. So how to target? One, again, you have to know who your audience is. So if we don't know who they are, we can't reach them. So maybe it's age, interests, maybe it's recruitment. Maybe you need a specific employee. Geographies, maybe they live within a 30-mile radius of your storefront. Keywords, your services. Maybe you want to target parents of young children who like to visit national parks. Yes, we can target that deep. Maybe it's women 35 plus making 75K and interested in luxury furniture. Or maybe you're looking to hire doctors, nurses, CNAs, people attending nursing school. These are all ways we can target pretty deep and pretty granular. And then, of course, targeted email. I love targeted email. And again, I'm preaching video, right? Why am I talking about email? Because you can actually incorporate a video link into an email if it's done effectively. And targeted email has taken direct mail by storm. It's obliterated the industry. And there's many, many reasons for that. So, and I actually started my career in print and direct mail. So I can honestly say email, it's the future. And, why is it better? It's cost efficiency. It's way less expensive when you're not paying all that money to print a postcard or a flyer. Speed and delivery, get it to their inbox right away. Measurable. We talk about Google Analytics 4. You can track this email through GA4. Targeting, personalization, environmental impact. It's sustainable. Many direct mail pieces cannot even be recycled due to the inks used. This is a great way to save those trees. Scalability, A/B test, and then of course, interactivity. Provide that link to a video in this email so people can actually not only be hit with your story, they can actually visually see your story. So email generates $38 on average for every $1 spent. That's a very high return on investment. You're able to engage throughout the customer life cycle. It's very relevant. It's the fastest path to revenue. So it's customized to the audience. You can do A/B testing, see which different variations work better with specific audiences. It's a great way to boost your brand awareness, promote your content, and generate and nurture leads as well. Here's an example of one we did. It was actually for SUNY Albany MBA program. And as you can see, one of the headlines reads, "Discover how to power up your career." That's great, worked really well. Almost over 790 clicks. Looking at all the different metrics, this looks like for the first couple days it went out, these are some really great metrics. We also provided links to social media, so we could actually drive traffic to, their different platforms. Here's a slightly different call to action. Why you should apply. Apply now. It's a little more, hey, just go and apply, right? A little drier. And as you can see, same audience, same variables, just slightly lower in clicks, slightly lower in some of the other metrics. So this is a great way to A/B test. Was it really far off? No, it wasn't. But you can see how just changing text, changing a call to action can dramatically change the landscape of, what you're trying to accomplish. So these are things that you want to definitely play around with. And, this is the great thing about digital marketing. You can actually test different variables to see what works better. If you're hiring, we work with Tropicana and Pepsi across the country. So if you're hiring, this is a great way to really reach your next viable employee. Tell them why you're a great place to work. Nonprofits, if you're a nonprofit out there, I strongly recommend utilizing email to solicit for donations, because we do this with a variety of our nonprofits, and it works so well because we're reaching people who, have the right income, who have donated previously, who fit that profile. So you can actually target your audience based on these parameters. And as you can see, here's one we did for a local nonprofit, donate now. Biggest thing in an email is a call to action. If you don't tell them what to do, they won't do it. In-game advertising. This is a new one, but for all you gamers out there, you know exactly what I'm referring to. This is very new. It's a new platform. It's up and coming. It's not for everybody. But again, when we talk recruitment, if you're trying to reach that ever elusive male, 18 plus, who's very difficult to reach on other platforms, this is a great way to reach them. This is very subliminal. As you can see, it could be a billboard within a game. It's very subliminal, but as you can see, you can actually display your message within these games. There's also other ways to do it in terms of, interstitial in-game advertising. So again, these are video that appears within gaming apps. Majority mobile, which is a great way to reach people, also across gaming consoles. So again, if you're looking to reach that elusive audience, and we want you to think about who that audience is, this might be a very viable platform. Here's another example of, intrinsic game ads. And again, very new, but it's for a very specific audience. Ford is a big proponent of in-game advertising. As you can see, they're just taking a very specific approach with a very specific call to action. So it's right for the right audience, and be authentic. If you're going to sponsor a billboard, just make sure it's your logo, it's your brand story. It's a great way to engage influencers. A lot of these influencers have more followers than most NFL or NBA stars. Mobile optimization. A lot of people are playing these games on the go. It's interactive. Integrate this through your social media channels, and then look at the data. Embrace innovation. And again, if you're trying to recruit young males, this is a fantastic way to go. Depends on your audience. And let's not forget building that brand equity. So what is your story out there? What is the perception? of your brand? How do people feel about your brand? What's the value, the visibility? How many impressions are you putting out there? So while we talk about attribution and we talk about hard metrics, we want to make sure that we're really full circle coming back to building brand equity. And then streaming audio. Again, we talk about video, but we talk about platforms that have really taken traditional platforms by storm, and streaming audio has really taken the terrestrial radio industry by storm. So in terms of, Spotify, Pandora, iHeart, these are great ways to repurpose that message. It's also a great way for nonprofits hiring, buy one, get one. You can run these really cool banner ads. So streaming audio is a fantastic way to repurpose your brand story. So why streaming audio versus traditional radio? I can listen during drive time. I can make sure I'm hearing my ad. That's what I hear a lot from traditional advertisers. And you want to understand that while you may be hearing it, the person who's going to spend money with you is most likely not hearing it. So those are the things you want to think about. It's targeted, lots of engagement opportunities. Biggest thing with streaming audio, it has to be punchy and to the point. Do this now. It's cost effective. You can reach across different devices. Maybe your somebody gets up and goes for a run, they come back in, they go to CNN.com, and they again see your video message. So you can retarget with video messages. And I'm always going to come back to video. Some best practices are, really understanding your audience. If we don't know who they are, we can't reach them. Tailor your message. Use engaging content. Make it short and sweet. Hey, trying to reach you right now. Frequency, timing, targeting. Really look at those completed ad listens. Are people completing an ad when they don't have to? And then test and iterate different messages. And of course, YouTube, definitely 2 billion users a month, you can't go wrong. So one of the biggest sources, or the biggest source for user-generated content, who doesn't go to YouTube, right? And in 2023, well, as you can see, YouTube had more viewing than Netflix. So again, YouTube is growing exponentially, and it's become a source of not only user-generated content, but also people are using it to view content on a connected television. So it's actually becoming very seamless divide between YouTube, connected television, and OTT. So it's part of the Google ecosystem. Google owns YouTube. Google loves YouTube. And in terms of, using video, this is great for search engine marketing, because if you can repurpose those very powerful keywords, then Google will keep track of that and start to lift your results in the search engine results page. Targeting tactics. Another reason YouTube is great as a digital marketing platform is because you can target based on custom affinity and custom intent, using different keywords, using, what websites, what content has someone been searching. So again, we can really dig down deep and find the right audience for you. We can even target based on life events. Has somebody just had a baby? Has somebody just gotten married? These are great ways to reach a new audience. And again, looking at custom affinity, custom intent, are people intending to purchase a product? Do people love a certain product? Maybe they love Chevy trucks. They have an affinity. Are people intending to buy Chevy trucks? It's a great way to think about that. And of course, we also do bumper ads. Those are those 6-second bursts that run before 30-second ad. It's a great way to really capitalize and encourage that engagement among your audience. And I'll just play this real quick. Here's another very effective YouTube ad using for a pizza restaurant. So the great thing about that video is even if you've already had Thanksgiving dinner, you're going to want that pizza. And that's YouTube. It's the visuals. It's the emotional connection. You see that pizza being made. You see that beer being poured. You see those chicken wings. So these are all things that makes YouTube incredibly powerful visual for telling that story. And what we don't always think about YouTube is really the search engine marketing or optimization of your video. So again, when you think about using the right keywords within your video, that's incredibly powerful. So maybe it's some long tail keywords like family dentist or affordable dental care, cosmetic dentistry. So these are things that need to be used within the video. It's also important to enable the captions because while your audience will view your ad, the website crawlers are going, or the search engine crawlers are going to be looking for these keywords. So it's very important to enable the captions so the crawlers can read it as a text file. And all of a sudden you've built credibility, you've built authority within Google, and over time you will start to see an increase in your search engine results. With that being said, it's very important to speak to the search engines, Google, Yahoo, Bing. It's very important. So we need to make sure that we're not only speaking to our viewer, we're also speaking to the search engines through those keywords. So you want to think about educational content, how to build authority and have Google see you as an authority in your business. So, think about the blog titles. Include those long tail keywords. Maybe it's what to do after a car accident. Write a detailed description. If you're an attorney, maybe you say in this video, we explain the steps you should take after a car accident in New York or in Vermont or wherever you're located. Learn how to file a personal injury claim and what to expect during the process. So you have to have all these keywords peppered in to the description, into the title, into the tags, into even what you're speaking through the script, and then enabling those captions. So you can actually speak to the search engines, because believe it or not, that's what we have to do now. So as you can see, keywords, descriptions, tags, user engagement, dwell time. So these are all very important things to think about with YouTube. And think about the shareability, repurposing this through your social media channels, keyword integration, captions, and then build that authority. So in terms of search engine marketing and search engine optimization, when you think about, when and where do I have to do this? Those are, 3-letter acronyms that are essentially buzzwords in this industry. And so, search engine optimization is really making sure that your website is visible to the people that need to see it. So driving relevant and frequent traffic, making your site easier to find, increasing online presence, building brand authority, driving site traffic. And then of course, using, the website directory optimization, always reviewing and monitoring the Google My Business posting, keywords, doing those site audits, site optimization, site monitoring, making sure you're using blogs. Blogs are very important. If you don't have a blog section on your website, I encourage you to start one. It's very easy. It doesn't need to be time consuming. Repurpose videos, customer testimonials, and stories, and just make sure you have those links. If anyone else is working with your product, have them link you on their website. Rising tides raise all ships. Having backlinking is incredibly valuable in the SEO and SEM space. So again, if you don't have a blog section, I strongly encourage you to get one. So we're really moving now in digital marketing from brand awareness to brand connection. Because the landscape is so cluttered, it's very important to make sure that we're moving in that direction and really developing that emotion among your audience. Here's a video that is a great way. It's a great way that we showcase that story.
Our father Jack embarked on a mission to bring the finest quality luxury vehicles to Earth. Today, same award-winning facility by Master Fleet delivering the ultimate luxury automotive experience.
Hard to hear.
Yeah, that's.
Taken care of now and in the future.
I apologize for that. There might be some audio difficulties. So moving into Facebook, Instagram, Meta, that was actually a video that we did specifically for Facebook, Instagram, Meta. So what are they doing now, right? Moving into social media, Facebook, love it or hate it. Instagram's, really made some traction in the last couple of years. These are things that you want to start thinking about. And, even though it's controversial, people are on it. So as you can see, Facebook, social media in general is going to have tremendous growth through 2028. So, and this isn't necessarily isolated to just Facebook alone, but Facebook in general. Users are only going to increase on this platform. So some of the best practices with Facebook are, essentially utilize the stories feature, encourage groups and events, post content that encourages meaningful, lengthy comments, utilize video, post content daily. If you post randomly, then the algorithm will actually downgrade you. So if you can't do it every day, maybe at least 3 to 4 times a week is really the minimum. And as you can see, even Zappos, they are really into, cause marketing, but they started with a question. They gained engagement with a question. They said, what's the go-to shoe for dad this summer? And then it moves into all the good work they're doing for the adaptive footwear movement. They create shoes for people with disabilities. So again, they're, really showcasing their cause marketing and causing and sparking discussion through a question. Kind of the same thing with LL Bean. They essentially, here's a very cute dog. It's the first thing you see. You don't even see their duck boots. But then they move into a video of how their duck boots are made. And I'm sure, this actually sold more duck boots than anything else because people are thinking, wow, I can really repurpose this when I walk my dog. So again, it's all about really getting that engagement right from the get-go. Facebook's Instagram, stories. Instagram has actually taken TikTok by storm because of their stories feature, the short form video. And again, this has led to a 35% increase in brand outcomes just using that stories feature. So Instagram now prioritizes posts with the highest number of likes. And you've probably noticed that you get the occasional post from a profile you don't know. And that's because this post has gotten so many likes and so much engagement that now it's gaining traction and going viral. And again, this is a pretty neat one where it's just showing you, really interesting, this is all movement, this is bacon, but essentially it's showing you just quick movement, quick engagement, and showing you what they do in this specific kitchen. So it's all about engagement. Click, post, like, share, save, comment. Peloton was a great example of this. We did a 45-day case study where the messaging changed the further we got down the funnel. And essentially it started as, seeing more upper funnel video. And then as we got to the end of this case study, we started seeing the call to action and the price points come through, which was really, really interesting. So again, it just started with some very overarching video. And as we moved down the funnel, as you can see, we started to engage. And again, the message is changing. There's now an influencer that's actually telling her story. So Peloton is using this influencer to get that story across. And then they used a trainer as well. And then as you can see now, we're actually getting the price points. We're getting to the bottom of the funnel where, hey, $450 value. So we're starting to get a little more demanding with what we're seeing. And as you can see, that's connecting at the bottom of the funnel. So again, and here's just a special video offer where they're finally getting to the bottom where they're saying, get a $550 value on the bike. So you can see how that messaging has changed. So again, we get back to the beginning, and I know we're starting to run a little short on time, but we get back to the beginning and it's like, so what do I do? How do I even implement this? This is a lot of information in a very, very short amount of time. But essentially you want to identify the platforms that are going to work best with your audience and with your creative. And you want to make sure that you're going to link these digital strategies. So you want to make sure that, you can repurpose this across Facebook, and that Facebook and Instagram will link together, or maybe it's YouTube and targeted video that are going to link together. But make sure you actually have a very consistent plan across the platforms that you're going to use. So what are your goals? That's really going to depend on what platforms you want to use. Is it brand awareness? Is it web traffic? Is it leads, sales, customer engagement? Is it recruitment? Everybody's going to have different goals and objectives and different criteria for what they want to see as a conversion. And then understand your audience. Tailor your strategy to relevancy, demographics, behaviors, pain points. Integrate those channels together with consistency, messaging, branding, approach. And then, of course, align your goals and objectives and repurpose across all channels. Think about the value, the education, the entertainment, the problem solving you can provide. YouTube's a great platform for how-to and educational content. So these are all things that you're going to want to think about when, you're deciding which platforms. You have a lot at your disposal. And again, it's a lot of information in a very short amount of time. But I just want to give you a very broad overview of what's out there and what you should really be looking at. So thank you. And I apologize for the technical difficulties.
No, the information was so informative, and you covered all the platforms, which was pretty amazing. Someone asked, where do you find technical procedure to post on your blog in your website in WordPress?
So essentially, you should be able to, even WordPress is pretty user friendly. So you should be able to go back into that same account and create a blog section using WordPress. Or if you had someone that created your website for you, I would go back to that person and just make sure that either they can continue to build on that website as well. Now, when you do that blog, make sure that you're actually creating links. So again, that would be in the stories that are up there. That would be in the video that's up there. So I would definitely repurpose all of that content onto that blogs page, and make sure if you're, somebody mentions you in their website, you're linking back to them in your website, and that's going to create authority.
He also follow up how to target financial service customers that don't buy off websites, a source of email addresses.
Financial services can get a little tricky. We work with a number of banks, and believe it or not, they are online. It just might be a little trickier to target. Facebook has a lot of policy and a lot of regulation around the financial industry, especially if it's housing, mortgages, very difficult to target based on, discriminatory regulations. But there are ways in email, we can find people who might be the most viable audience for financial services. And that could mean investments, banking, mortgages, depends. So there are ways to reach them, and they are online. It's just reaching them across the right platforms and following your audience where they are. The beauty of digital is finding them online, right? That's what we have to do.
Got it. And just so everyone knows, this will, I got to edit it. I was typing too fast. This is being recorded. It will be on Chamber TV this afternoon. It will be on our website. What do you find is the effective resource for email marketing?
You mean in terms of, where to find the lists?
Yeah, why don't you go for that one?
Yeah,
This is, let me see who was most effective. Yeah.
So there's different ways to do email marketing, and you may have a CRM already where you have emails built up, and that's a great way. If you're using Constant Contact or MailChimp, it's a great way to reach that current list. The problem with that is that if you want to grow and get outside of that list and have more customers that may not necessarily know where you are, you're going to want to utilize perhaps vendors that have access to these types of trigger data or these types of audiences that can actually extend that reach. And email is very, very cost effective. Even if you're using a vendor, it's nowhere near the price of direct mail, and it's much more attributable and much more effective.
Do you have to buy those lists? How does that work?
So, essentially, I can't speak for every media organization out there, but when we do email, we don't make them buy the list. We actually just, the cost is associated with the creative being trafficked to that list. So again, I can't speak for any other organizations. I don't know how those work, but I just know the way that I work with it.
Got it, got it. Everyone said this is a great meeting. Any other questions? Let me go into the, with all the new privacy rules on Facebook and Google, how far to drill down on demographics?
So essentially, what's really been affected by that is what we call geo-targeting. Essentially, geo-targeting is not even, it's not even really as plausible as it was in the past, because people have decided they don't want to share their location. They want privacy. So it's very difficult to track people based on location. Now, in terms of interest, essentially, your data's out there. If you own a phone, your data's out there. If you've opted into any websites, technically, even if you go to a website and you give, your email, or they have, your phone number, your information's out there. So it's easy to target. And typically people do opt into websites. Same thing as email. If you've opted in to receive email, we can send you emails. Now with email, it's a little different. If you've opted out, we cannot send you emails. But technically with Google, even Apple, if you've opted in, if you've gone into these websites, your data's there. It's actually what we call first party data. It's data that has come directly to us. We haven't had to purchase it through vendors, which is actually a little more, on the up and up than purchasing it third party.
Now, just so you know, while I have talk about that, there are bots and agents that are taking, like, you'll get an email from us, not from us, from someone saying they're selling the Greater New York Chamber, database. And we would never sell our database, but they, they're using that. And I just want, what, maybe you can Mimi, you can appreciate this point. Do not respond to them. Don't say unsubscribe unless they have on the top of the email, it says unsubscribe, because that's how they verify an email that is active. So, and that's how they sell it, by the way. So that's what we're running into. So if you get these emails that are, are suspicious, don't unsubscribe unless they have that official unsubscribe button going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
One other question, and then we'll do a hard close. Are there any free accessible databases new to marketing? And also, is your opinion, which platform is better for a cleaning company? That you can ask her directly, unless she has time, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of databases, the best database you're going to have to use, I'm going to be honest, is the people coming right to your website. So tap into Google Analytics 4 and make sure that you're really capitalizing on that traffic. It's the lifeblood of your business. There are third-party sites that, exchange data, purchase data. That's what Google's trying to track, or the federal government, I should say, is trying to crack down on. There are vendors, databases, Experian being one of them, that you can get this data. But I would definitely focus on your the first party data that's coming right to your website. That's like gold.
Okay. And just one tip for Diana. What's your opinion? Which platform would you recommend for a cleaning company? She's being specific.
For a cleaning company, again, it's one of those businesses you don't want to have to use them, but you got to, right? You have no choice. It's a great business to be in, just in terms of demand. So I would probably work with something a little more mid to bottom funnel, maybe some YouTube, maybe some Google AdWords. I'd have a very limited budget and always incorporate a video component with that. Even some targeted video would be great.
Well, Mimi, thank you so much for this. It's 11 o'clock. I just wanted to say thank you so much for, putting out this information. Don't forget that we have Tuesday, September 24th at the Business Expo. We, RSVP for your complimentary ticket, not at 8 a.m. Set up for the people that are on there. I see a couple of people that have taken tables. Just a reminder, is 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock, you can start walking around. We have complimentary webinars. We have an AI panel at 12:30 at the Marriott 7th floor. So join us. All the information is on our website at chamber.nyc. It's our annual event. We have over 90 businesses represented. So bring a lot of business cards. It's really interesting, Mimi. I'm going to start a YouTube on how do, how to tell people and businesses how they're sabotaging their own business and their own opportunities for business development. We had an in-person networking yesterday, and if you were there and you didn't have business cards, shame on you. And it's amazing that they don't come and bring business cards. So if you're coming to the expo, bring business cards. You never know who you're going to meet and never know who you're going to connect with. Mimi, it was great. Thank you so much. This will be on Chamber TV. We're going to have an article. She'll summarize everything for our news. So we can post that, the key points that she talked about. Thank you everyone for joining us. We'll talk to you later. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and I can forward you Mimi's contact information.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you again.
Bye.